Okay, so I'm back. I did a little bit of research and figured out what my problem was. My demo map, I had forgotten one little integral step, which was that because I'm using I'm using custom normals that I forced in Maya, and then I'm trying to light based on those fake normals. I didn't want to use tangent space normals, so in my matte grass, I unchecked tangent space normals. Now everything is just kind of lit from the mesh normal, and that's about it. And it's created exactly what I was hoping to have, which was you've got this nice soft light. I can pull in the spec if I want to. I can add in the roughness, and like when it's like that, it doesn't look correct. But it was the source of the problem, causing the grass to just stand out really strangely from the terrain at those distances. Because the close-up stuff, yeah, it's gonna look about like this, and that's okay. Um, but I was hoping it would look a little bit more, um, uh, or a little bit better fit at the back, which now it does. So everyone's happy, or I'm happy. Maybe you're happy. So yeah, so I fixed that about the grass. It's gonna allow for much nicer painting. I'm just kind of tweaking the color at this point and seeing what I like, what I don't like. Playing with the opacity still. It's on the slightly right window, so I can pull it over. Um, Seeing what amount of opacity fill in feels comfortable. How am I getting those shadows cast, stuff like that. Um, Still looking at the main light and looking at the shadow distribution or distributant. Um, there's a lot of little individual settings. You can even mess with the shadow bias itself, which is where the self shadowing of the scene kind of appears. Um, probably keep it where it was. Maybe lower it a little bit, and then you can even force sharpen the shadows if you so desire. But I'm gonna go in and actually I'm pretty pleased with where the grass is for now. Probably tweak it more later. So I'm gonna go back to what I was doing before I ran into that foliage problem where I was trying to tweak color and get some grass painted on some stuff. I kind of like that look where it's just kind of in patches on things. I'm gonna desaturate it a little, maybe shift it a little bit more towards like a brownish grass, because I think like it's one thing to have the grass fit in with the environment, but it's another thing to have the grass like sit with the environment, and they're not always mutually exclusive, right? So like the ground is green, but the grass is brown. That looks a lot better than uh, the grass is bright green, but it looks like it's very out of place. Um, so that'll be something that I tweak as I kind of go through this. I'm actually going to um, kind of like playing with size settings now, and uh, seeing just where it complements. Um, I think one of the things I'll eventually have to do is add some way for there to be a bit of variation in the grass. Um, I like the idea of there being uh, some grass down in here. Um, I don't like grass on the rocks, so I'm gonna. Well, my grass patch is a little big. I'm being a little careful with what it sits on. Uh, um, there's also a chance I could just be going way too strong with this grass in terms of size. In fact, let's try that out. it look like when it's tiny? Okay, I actually like that better. So I'm gonna delete all my grass and then add it again. And this time, I'm gonna play with a much smaller size range. Up that density again. That's looking a little nicer. On the other screen, I'm going to lower the world position offset. I think it's a little high. It's part of what's forcing the grass to seem really tall. Increase the density a little. Let's see what it looks like. Yeah, I like that. I actually like that a lot more. It's just in these little patches. Something like that, where I can just go in and paint little groups of it. Just kind of breaking things up, and the mesh itself lods incredibly aggressively. I should add, for those who are curious. I think it goes from like 700 tries down to like 200 down to like down to less than 20 pretty quickly. So I'm kind of taking a look at that and seeing what I think. I think I wish I had sunk it into the ground a little. I think that helps a little bit with it. Wonder if you can even get it to cast shadow when it's like that. Maybe 2. Just gonna wipe out a couple of these spots. Clear it back up and paint it in a little bit lower. I'm constantly, like tweaking the color and stuff like that. I kind of think I know what I want to do when it comes to its color, because I really like browns, and I'm really liking some of the greens that are available. But gotta have a bit of both. I'm not gonna paint grass like very far, actually. I'm gonna keep it pretty close. Just because I don't think you'd see it very much at all. Yeah, just kind of painting grass. It's pretty fun. I'm trying to keep it pretty consistent where I'm putting it. Like, I'm not putting out any slopes that are too high. I'm probably gonna go in and have make a change to the setting and then paint in like some variants of it where it's maybe a little taller, a little bigger, just to add that variation in. paint it on some rock. Oop, did it again. Yeah, I mean the nice thing about this grass is that I can just paint it all over the place. But I really do love that bare rock look. I think that's very nice. And like I would go crazy with this if I was doing something on my own project, like lots of different foliage types and heather and all these different types of foliage that I think also would be totally. You can see even having them in the background's a little weird. They're just kind of blobby. If I can paint a little bit bigger of a circle. Yeah, starting to get some nice stuff in there. Back down to a little one though and paint some more of this. But yeah, I would add much more vegetation variation. We're gonna do that to the best of our abilities with the starter content and with that other grass type. The nice thing too is because I'm being a little bit logical about where I paint it, you're starting to see these swaths of area that feel like they would have mud in them, right? It feels like it would maybe be a little natural for something like that to occur, and that's certainly the goal, right? Is everything should slowly complement itself, so we're helping. Like the stuff that I'm doing with the grass is going to help make it clear where the rocks are, which is going to help like make the mud make a little bit more sense. These clumps of grass are going to be good visual indicators to where we can put in, interesting stuff like trees to break it up. Really just like feeding off of itself to get better results. And the nice thing is, because this is PBR, this is a next-gen engine, it's all just going to keep feeding off of itself, and we're going to be able to do some really cool stuff with lighting after a lot of the mesh density has been placed. Going a little bit overboard on the on like how much detail I'm putting into this, because the shot I think is already looking stellar from just like how it's all been set up to be composed. But it's going to give us a little bit more play. We'll be able to have a little bit more fun messing with spots in the environment. So I'm going to go in and I'm actually going to now place some bigger clumps of it, just in some spots. I think it'll be worth it, just to have that little extra variation. You can see pretty quickly this scene is coming to life. And I actually really am a fan of that color that I picked. It's helping keep things subtle. And I think that's kind of the beauty of some of this stuff. I am still concerned a little bit with the amount of noise in the environment. Doing stuff like what I just did I'm testing things out, seeing where the space can be fixed or adjusted, where new shapes can be shown. Also, like that, covering up little weird spots that are problematic. So yeah, this is coming out pretty cool. I'm pretty excited. we got a nice little start of things. So now I'm going to actually hide this mesh and switch to the other grass mesh. I'm actually going to open that mesh up. Well, actually, I have the grass material I'm going to save before I lose everything. And I'm just going to paint. Or I was going to paint. Come on. Paint. That's right, that's really tiny by default. So it was -15, -10 was the setting I was looking at. Or -5. And then scaling 2 to 3. There we go. So now time to look at keeping some of that original color. Maybe pushing it a little bit into the yellowish brown to get some of that variation. I think is a cool idea. That's a little too yellow. Doing it with the tint, yeah, is going to be more influential. Cool, so I got that. I'm going to drop the density, drop my brush size a little, kind of see what, yeah, so I can already see some problems. I went too low on the inset, so -10. Trying to get a little bit better of a scale there, and I think I still actually went way too much with that saturation tint. Oh, sorry, I was doing it on the off screen. I essentially was tweaking the subsurface scattering to try and get the most, not the most, but just trying to get a bit more variation of that brownish yellow that works so well. And I'm just gonna go in and use it as an accent point, really. Like find little spots that would be cool to have lots of it. I can kind of tell by looking at it that I think I may have gone too far when I was messing with the wind settings. I think 1500 and then maybe 300 is better. And I think the wind strength maybe down to 0.1 on the z-axis. Yeah, this is, it's a shrub, so it's not going to appear everywhere, right? It's going to appear in these nice little like groups. Kind of just add a little bit of